Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red, Friday morning, and it's nice and dry. Still very warm. Matthew 13, verse 38, second verse into this parable regarding the dragnet. 48. And when it was filled, they drew it up onto the beach, and they sat down and gathered the good fish into containers, and the bad fish they threw away. And when it was filled, so there was a time span that was going to pass before they were ready to deal with what they were catching with regards to fish. So when the net was filled, they drew it up. And we are in a time span with God as it relates to when God is going to do what God is going to do. And here Jesus is saying that there's a time span, not yet, but when it's full, now. It's coming now. And we get that sense of there's this time span that's coming. And when it's filled, that's the time. They drew it up. They are the angels. They drew it up when it was filled onto the beach. So there's a day coming when they drew it up and they brought it to the beach and they looked at what they caught and they began to separate what was the good fish from the bad fish. Those things that were, as it were, belonging to the good, and those things that were not belonging to the good but belonging to the bad. They separate. And Jesus is trying to convey in this parable that there's a day coming when it's ready and the angels are going to come and they're going to drag the net filled with fish, the catch, and they're going to look and separate the good from the bad. And the day of reckoning is seen all the way through this parable, where God one day will deliver, as it were, his people from evil. They sat down and gathered the good fish into containers, but the bad fish they threw away. So the good fish, they went into the kingdom of God, and the bad fish, they went into hell. There is a judgment that will come one day when God, as it were, credits to our lives those things that we have done and those things that we have not done, the right and the wrong. You know, we used to have a concept called the conscience. Don't hear much about it now so much. Used to have like a little devil on the left side and a little angel on the right side in these cartoon characters. And there was this sense of identity with, do I listen to the good or the bad, the good or the bad? And the reality is that if we listen to the bad, we would go bad. And if we listen to the good, we would go good. Well, that's a cartoon. But the reality is God has given us our spirit, which is our conscience. The conscience is the candle of the Lord. The spirit of the Lord, Proverbs says, is the candle. It's in us. And we know really inside what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. It doesn't matter how much we move the lines to say, oh no, that's not so bad. Okay, we can do that. Oh, we can do that. And we get these great big lines drawn, but really God's lines are very clearly defined, good and bad. What are you going to do? Are you going to live your life as a person who seeks after what is good? Or are you going to allow yourself to indulge in complementing the world with evil, with bad? Are you going to be a good person or a bad person? The only way we can be a good person is if we connect to God's goodness and not our own. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday.